Ladies and gentlemen, we're in the nether again. We're hunting down wither skeletons. We're being set on fire. It's another episode of FoolCraft. This guy's now with me. Jeez, I want a one-hit kill here because I've got an amazing sword. Check it out. Bam! One-hit kill on those wither skeletons. Pretty cool, right? Got to watch my health while I'm here. Not good to be withered. So, welcome back to another episode of FoolCraft. We are in the nether, hunting down wither skeletons again. I've just said all this, haven't I? I'm repeating myself. Come back here, you. You're going to get one hit killed. Bam! So check out this sword. We are on our way to leveling it up again, about halfway through at the moment. It does 20.79 attack damage, which if you get a critical hit in there, is usually one hit kill every single time on most mobs, which is fantastic. So flying around in our crazy fortress area, this is the place where there's a massive lava lake, so you get loads of wither skeletons spawning. They're nice and easy to hunt down. And so far I've got on myself, how many skulls I tell you? 18! 18, but that's not actually what we're here for, can you believe it? We're here for the drops of evil, which don't seem to drop very often at all. It's kind of occurred to me that beheading on this sword is now not the best thing to use. I could have either made another sword, or maybe I want to continue using this one, but put looting on it, right? Because I believe that's going to increase the drop rate of those drops of evil. And I couldn't tell you how many I've killed so far. Probably about 25 wither skeletons, something like that. And we've only got 4 drops. So I'm going to show you why we need the drops when we get back to the overworld. As of right now, there's really nothing for me to do but fly around. I've already explored this thing before, raided all of the chests. So we're just going to fly about until we get more of those wither skeletons. Ooh, there's a ghast. Ghast no more. Dude, check it out. Look at what happens when he opens his eyes. Oh my god, that looks so silly. Oh, I love it. See you later. We're up to 9 now. I'd like to leave here with 10, so come on. One here. We'll hunt a few more. It takes a while. You've got to go back and forth, and although this is an ideal situation, this area, it takes its time. And I'm just thinking this is a very good spawn location. If you were playing this in vanilla, though, this would be hours and hours of work just to get these kind of drop rates, you know. So, gotta love the power play of modded sometimes. Oh, and we got 10. Excellent. All right, that means we can head back home. And, of course, that's going to be nice and easy, isn't it? So, from that, we also got 54 wither skeleton skulls as well, which is great. I might fight another wither again this episode. And if ever we need to farm some more nether stars, that's the way we're going to have to do it now, because the loot bags are no longer going to drop nether stars. So we got 25 of them, and we're going to have to spend them carefully. This thing has now been disabled. We are relying more on the lava chickens to give us power at the moment. But anyway, I'm going to show you what the drop of evils are going to do. And before we do that, I need to explain a sort of bug or an error that's happening to me at the moment. This just started today when I logged on. Yesterday, everything was fine. I haven't done anything with grid power, right? Except all of a sudden, this number continuously goes up. And there it goes, another 10 right there. There is some sort of bug that means this number just keeps going up and up and up, and it goes all the way into the thousands. So you're about to see that over there we have some creative grid power blocks. I've given myself those just to overcome this bug temporarily. Not trying to cheat or anything, but for some reason this number just continuously shoots up into the thousands, and then I can't fly, and all my machines and my base stops working, right? So I've got those there temporarily until that bug gets fixed. Anyway, what we're going to do is chuck a spawner up here. It is a skeleton spawner. I was tempted to do this with the creeper one that I found first of all, but then I thought, no, let's use the skeleton spawner. Also, this might help us farm some more wither skeletons. So if we were to put one of those in the nether, it would spawn wither skeletons. But what we're going to do is click on it with one of our drops of evil. And I was under the impression it would take one of those drops of evil. Are you telling me that's like a tool? I just need one to turn these into Resturbed mob spawners. I don't really know what Resturbed means. Refurbished is a word that would make sense to me. But anyway, when you place this thing down, the skeleton is invisible. That's slightly alarming. It does tell you here, though, that it's a skeleton. And you can upgrade the speed in which this operates with grid power. Aha! But here's a cool thing. We don't need to be in range of this thing for it to work. We can go as far away as we want, and it will still be active, which is just insane. That means we can chunk load it in the nether, and also we can control it with redstone. Pretty amazing, right? We can also break it with our pick and pick it back up again. Do you know what? I panicked for a second there because it looked like it broke. No, it came back into my inventory. So I don't know what our plan for that is. I've got another plan for right now. At some point in this episode, we are going to build a farm with that, though. It's going to be very interesting to see how efficient that can be. So what I'd like to do right now is make some progress on the wastelands. This place hasn't changed since the last episode, and what I'd like to do is focus on clearing up this middle area, because it's here that we're going to build the main structure of our base, which isn't just going to be underground, it's going to be above ground as well, and ideas are bubbling around in my mind. But in order to do this, we've got a lot of water to clear. Now recently I've had a load of comments from you guys with a really cool idea, and I think I even addressed it and said it wasn't what I wanted to do. However, the idea is fantastic for something else, and that is to remove the water. So I get tons of suggestions to use the builder, which we were using to remove lava in the Nether, to get rid of all the sand and the sandstone. And you know what, it's a really smart idea, but there's something about using the vein miner that I just love, watching it all disappear manually as I vein mine all of the blocks. So we're going to stick to doing it that way. However, when it comes to the water, I would like to very much get rid of all of this nice and easy. And the way we're going to do that is with the builder, of course. So if we swap that filter over to water, that should work absolutely fine. As you saw there, the other one was a lava bucket, so I can't see a reason for this not to work. And then we've just got to set like a shape and a destination. So why don't we start, let's say, or what would be smart is to dig in that way a little bit so we get all of this area on the side. But let's keep it simple for now. We're going to go from there all the way over to somewhere down. Hang on a second, I'm doing this completely wrong, aren't I? I'm supposed to shift-click the machine, first of all, geez. Right, here we go. Let's shift-click the ground over here. Then we're going to fly down into the wasteland and get somewhere that's nice and low down, so we get all the water at the bottom. There should be a cave or something over here, and then we'll be getting rid of all of the water as well. There we go. Alright, so all of that's been copied into the shape card. Going to load it into the machine, whack down a lever, set that thing off, and it's not using up power just yet, which would suggest that it is looking in areas where there currently isn't water. Where is it going to start? I would have expected it to have done something by now. I'll tell you what, I'm a fool. Do you know why I'm a fool? This thing, man, I've tried it 3 or 4 different times and it keeps just getting to a certain point and then it stops. And man, I am brain dead, I tell you, I'm brain dead. Are those derpy eyes on my face? No, they're not. They should be on right now, because I've been a derp. Of course, it's got to dump the water somewhere. Straight away, there's the dirt, there's the water. Of course, that makes complete sense, right? And that thing, wow, that's actually filled up really quickly. And I kind of just want to avoid this. I wonder if there's a way to get the liquid out of it without destroying the item. Because that's full now, that's all it's done. So it's not quite as straightforward as I thought it would be. Oh, there you go, there you go. Okay, well I was considering upgrading that to one made out of the diamonds, but we can just put it in a crafting bench to empty it. That is kind of cheeky, that's kind of easy, isn't it? And there we go, excellent. So, of course, the next step for us is to come in here and vein mine this away. I was about to do it with my pick, then I realised that the water would probably fill back in the area as it goes over it, you know, because it can do that now. There was a time in this game where it couldn't do that, it couldn't replenish itself. Are you ready for the Wastelands expansion? Do you know what? Expansion is a bit too strong of a word. Let me show you what I've done here. I think that's looking pretty cool. Don't you think? It took us about 45 minutes to an hour to do this. Did it during a live stream. And of course we're doing other things as well. So I wasn't entirely focused on this. But I think it's gone pretty good so far. Probably not enough room for what I want to build here in the middle. But I'm going to crack on and do some more of this. This thing over here though, it really gets through the juice, I tell ya. I've been using capacitor banks and all sorts of things on this and just feeding it as much energy as I can. And it's done a pretty terrific job. It does have one sort of problem though, where it leaves behind ghost water that you've got to kind of update to get rid of. But that's what we've done. You can see the progress. Let's have a look at it on the mini-map. Bam. I love the way this is just spreading out constantly all of the time. It's really cool to see it evolve. And we'll definitely do some more of that. But over here you can see that our base has expanded. And we're using the lava chickens. I kind of hinted at this, that we would expand it or something along those lines. And down here we've got more magnetic generators than just one, and all of those have 2 upgrades in them. It seems to be a lot more efficient to have multiple ones of these in than it does to just stack a load of speed upgrades in one by itself. And this capacitor bank has been charged, which means I can use it on our pump over there. So anyway, this is not as complicated as it looks, but it's probably not the most optimal of designs. Over here we have an importer and a dropper, and underneath this lava tank is an exporter, which I believe I can actually click on. So this thing is set to export the lava eggs, and then this will turn it into lava. There is a fluid conduit connected to this, believe it or not. It's the one I'm looking at, the little red streaks of the lava going through it, and that'll take it to all of these, which is pretty cool. So there's also item conduits in there. That's going to take the items out of the nesting pens up above and put them into the dropper. And the third thing that you see there is a power conduit. Basically, a lot of stuff all rammed into these conduits. The power is to take it from these things and feed it into our system. So a nice little upgrade right here. I do actually want to build some more of these generators though on the other side. So I'm waiting for these eggs to hatch, and when they do, they'll be the last chickens to go in here. You can see we've put the generators on the other side. This thing is doing ever so cool, and also I've mirrored what we've got on here. So we've got another cable going underneath exporting more, because I noticed that this one was starting to slow down a little bit. This lava was like creeping down and it couldn't process the lava eggs quick enough. But there's something else that I want to do here. I just want to make it look a little bit nicer, and I use these on hermit packs very briefly, and I never really think about using them too often. So they are conduit facades, and they should turn these conduits into a block. So what we want to do is actually remove that first of all. We want to do one of them like this, and then two of them like in a cha-cha would. That's got me wondering, I wonder if you can rotate these at all when you place them down. Not that I want to, the default way would be fine. So if we put that there, aha, it now looks like that one. Awesome. And then in the corner here, one for you and one for you. That is excellent right there, I love that. So there are two other things that I'd like to show you. This over here I forgot to mention is a trash can for fluid. So it's a real pain to keep picking up the iron drum, putting it in your crafting bench and back down again, so you can just void fluids by using that block, which is really cool. The other thing is extremely useful. If you're playing this pack as well, you want to know about this. So in your options menu there is something called toggle GUI for the Tinker's Construct mod, and when you enable that, you can toggle the thing that it does. I forget what it's called. Let's press the button, right? So if I click on this, Global Traveler, right? So when I mine blocks of this, it's going to send them back to the chest. Let's say we're using the shovel and we don't want to do that. We can click on that right there and turn it off. So notice what happens when I come over here and vein mine all of this dirt. It goes into my inventory. So then if we toggle it back on again and go mine some sand, which is what we want to go into our giant sand chest. Where's the vein miner button? There it is. This will not go into my inventory, and that is extremely useful. I'm definitely going to use it for this one because I often keep 2 picks in my hotbar so that I can send things back to my chest or keep them in my inventory. But now I know about that, we got no use for that diamond pick. So our project for this episode is to upgrade this area right here. And when I say upgrade, I'm talking about aesthetics, not just technical stuff, you know. We're going to make this farm even better, and right now I've tried to reduce the spawning a little bit, but it's still going absolutely crazy. You can see that I've removed the relocator obelisk. We're going to build another type of farm in the center of our base later on with that. As of right now though, I've got to use these things and move these out of here again, as we're going to upgrade each and every one of these to a Resturbed mob spawner. However, I got a feeling that the Enderman one doesn't work. I was reading chat and Stress Monster has been trying to do the same thing, yet it didn't work for her with an Enderman spawner, so we might have to avoid that one for now, but we will continue to farm all the other mobs. We've got spiders in here, skeletons, and zombies, and I'm thinking we'll have to do a creeper as well, but I'm very, very sketchy about doing that one, because of course it can blow all of these spawners up. Alright, we got a few of these in place, and they're a little bit different from the vanilla spawners. What ones shall we do next? Let's do, is that zombie? Because they might actually be different. So we want these things on a hotbar, and I like to just plop it down over here, and then zap that thing back into my inventory and place it up the top here. Something spawned and shot me. Nothing, in theory, should spawn at the moment. Okay, aha, one at the top there, one at the top that I missed, makes sense, right? We got some Ender IO conduits here. This is a redstone conduit, so it's going to be like a redstone signal, but there is a little bit of a problem with it, but I found a solution. It's actually quite simple. So This is actually going to be tricky now that I think about it. What we want to do is click on the side of this with a wrench to create a connection. And you see one's been created there. So if we do that first, it makes it easier to click on. Now the one at the top doesn't have one yet. And that's why we're going to click on that now. So these things can be controlled by redstone. And I've just been hanging out here and testing them, making sure that they're good. Let's throw... Well, down they go. A lot of the mobs that spawn in here are black for some reason, which is really weird. Look at that! He's completely in the dark. Let's give him a torch and see if he lights up. No, he almost looks like a wither skeleton, doesn't he? Oh, wow, look at that shield design. So there was a zombie that spawned that had wither arrows, and it shot me with them, and I thought, oh no, it's a wither skeleton, which is actually a good thing, because we want to farm those as well. But you can see that this guy comes with the armor, which might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. I'm not really sure at this point. But when it comes to the size of this thing, we actually want every mob that falls down to survive, because we want to push them into an area where we can use something that has looting to kill them. So the dimensions of this are going to change basically, but what we will do is set these two redstone on, and now they will stop spawning, because currently we are delivering a redstone signal. If I hit this, all hell might break loose. And now we're going to turn it off again. Wait a minute, this is off. Okay, so it's redstone on for it to activate. Right, and now I've got a load of pesky blazes to deal with. Okay, they've been dealt with, thank goodness. So I just wanted to point out, for the aesthetics of this room, we can just simply build into the space that's already here. Now, the relocator obelisk had a much larger area for which it was going to teleport into. These things, if they're like vanilla spawners, which they appear to be, shouldn't go any further out than 4 blocks, which leaves us with 1 block of space to build a nice design on the wall going down. But the next thing we're going to do before we focus on aesthetics is get the rest of these spawners in place and figure out how far down they're actually going to fall. Look at these silverfish. They're permanently dark and they're very, very fast and scary, and they're also a little bit stupid because they go off the edge. They are not normal silverfish. They also, as far as I know, don't drop anything, right? Mob essence, we get that from other things, right? So if they don't drop anything else, then there's actually no reason for us to make this platform or drop work with the silverfish. I've just realised they're also the only thing that's spawning at the moment, yet these other ones were set to spawn as well. Or maybe they didn't. Huh, maybe I made a mistake there. Okay, here's the deal. These are Resturbed mobs, aren't they? So they're not going to be like normal ones. They're faster and they're black, and that's actually the same of all the ones that come out of here, like this guy. Show us how fast you are, man. Whoa! That guy zipped over here real quick, didn't he? So anyway, I was thinking that we should always think with the mods, which is why there's a big lump of cobblestone in here, because we can just vein mine this away when we're done with it. And then when we want to go and test at a different height, let's say down here, it's super easy to build a temporary platform for testing, because we've got a builder's wand as well. So this is just power play modded at its best right here. So anyway, I'm going to wait for them to fall down. We're going to let... Now, why is there a random cobblestone here? We're going to let the silverfish die. However, the other mobs, we sort of want to get them down to about 1 heart. Okay, it's testing time. We're going to turn off our magnet, because I want to find out if this vacuum chest will work with a fast conveyor on top of it. And that's actually pointing... Oh! Does this work? I'm not sure. Wait, I held down shift. Maybe if you hold down shift, it's the opposite. Interesting. So, if you're not holding shift, if you're holding shift... goes in the opposite direction. Cool stuff. Anyway, the thing that I'm trying to do here is find out if the vacuum hopper will pick up items when this is above it. So I've turned off our thing. We're going to throw down some cobblestone. Apparently pressing R means I fall down. That's interesting. I have no idea why that is. But if we go underneath here, it's picked up the cobblestone. So that's good to know. I was just thinking, if any mobs do die from the fall, one thing we don't want happening is having their items just gather in this area. But then I also realised that these things... I'm the worst at this, aren't I? We won't need that there, because this thing will just move the items along anyway, right? Yeah, you can kind of see, there you go. It'll take care of the items. So after I press R, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... it's when I double tap R. Okay, now I'm not falling down. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe this thing is going bonkers again. Before we lay down all of the conveyors, and by the way, I just logged back in. Lost my second row of hearts. Before we lay down those conveyors, I wanted to work on aesthetics, and I was thinking, oh no. We can't use our favourite block. Man, it is really dark. Our favourite block right here. this one that gets used so often in this game because it's such a really good texture. So tried out a few other things, and do you know what? The blue just doesn't work. But then I had a eureka moment. We're going to use dirt alongside this thing, and I got a feeling it's actually going to look really, really good. But before we do that, I do want to just grab some of these. You can see I crafted up loads of these blocks because they're super cheap. And I was thinking about using a giant fan, and this is unfortunate. There it is. Because we're going to push the mobs through the conveyor belts from one side to the other. I thought it'd be cool if there was like a fan to represent that. So the middle of the room is right here, but the texture never lines up to, well, unless you build the room in a different position, it's got its own place that it lines up to in the world. And unfortunately, it's off by one, and that is always going to look really weird. But a massive fan sitting on one side would look great. So what we're going to do instead is have a whole row of fans. Let's go with those ones right there. We'll take the broken texture where it slows down every so often and throw a couple of those in. But that'll basically tell a little bit of a story there that the mobs are going to get pushed across, which I think will make a lot of sense when you look into the room. Look at this fancy fella right here with his crazy armor. Well, Doc wants to borrow a spawner. I was going to go over to him and place it down next to him, which is why I just hit record. And turns out he came over here, but he can just have that. Oh, you got loads of spawners to spare. One more block, bam. Dirt. Dirt is the answer. To make this look a little bit more interesting than usual, wow, that is a lovely texture. It's not finished. It's definitely not finished. There's something that needs to change here. The problem with this is that the texture change up is nice, but then it all becomes very bland in terms of shape. So what we're going to do, I think, is go up and perhaps crisscross some factory block beams, and that's going to be quite tricky to do actually while I'm recording. Yeah, because these take a while to break. So that's something I got to work on. I've got to get me a shovel. Speaking of which, I have a shovel. I just need to unlink it. I always think in my mind I can't use this, but recently we've learned we just need to press the button on the keyboard, turn that thing off, and bam, we can mine it pretty fast. So yeah, we'll have something going across like that on that side, and then a little bit higher up here we'll have one coming in from the other side. But I'll do all of that in a moment. What I want to focus on next is the room that's going to be here at the bottom. Also, the top isn't done. I'll figure all of that out in a moment. But what I want to have is 2 windows and then a big sort of open area coming into this space. So there we go. We've got plenty of room to build a room back there now. I love that. I never get bored of Vein Miner. It has made playing this pack so much more fun. You can do big projects very quickly, and you don't have to be... well, your ambitions don't have to be limited, so to speak. So in this room, what I want to do is bring the structure of that. So there's this nice big high area that kind of looks up into the room. And this is where the mobs are going to get, like... ooh, a creeper. And another one. I've got to say it, I'm loving this room design. Okay, so these things, I decided to just make them go off randomly. And I love the look of it. It makes it feel a little bit more mysterious in here, and I really love the dirt. I think it's so cool. We're going to extend it into this room a little bit, but then we're going to try and transition this into something that feels a little bit more structured. And down the bottom here, we're going to install some mob mashers, which you might have seen in my Sky Factory series. We're going to put them along here. There's going to be 3 of them, and we can put looting and other upgrades into those as well. And we've got a creeper visitor. Get away. Get away. So the other thing I wanted to mention is that I've accidentally left the Enderman spawner here running, and I've noticed that the Enderman fall down and teleport away, which reminds me we're going to have to build another obelisk that will stop the Enderman teleporting, because they're going to come down here, take damage, and then this guy's going to go, well, I'm doing the off, and teleport out of here. Are you ready to see it? I'm coming back here to pick up a few bits and bobs, and we're going to turn the farm on now. I'm not sure how well it's going to perform though, because it probably needs some upgrades. So you can see we don't have to look up there anymore. The mob farm now has its own little room, and we zap to it, and I love how this looks. I've got this feeling though, I'm going to get tons of comments saying, dude, this is super weird and ugly, but I really like it. The mix of industrial and dirt just makes this feel like it's been built underground and packed in. And where have you come from? Hey, come on now, get out of here. Yeah, so this floor, this bit in the middle, not so sure about that. And on the back here, I think is where I want the controls to be. And I want to find some fancy textures to work with. There'll be a few levers to turn on and off for the various options. And one of those is to turn on the mob mashers. So I've crafted these. Geez, I need a way through here. And we'll just carve a massive hole. Completely lost my train of thought there We need to break a block though so we can figure out where those are. Right, they're on the far side here. And these redstone conduits, we need them to send a strong signal. So first of all, got to set them up so they actually attach themselves to those blocks. And I believe there is an option for this. There it is, excellent. So if it were a weak signal, it might not power the mob mashers, which I've crafted up above. Alright, so let's add the lever. Let's set this as the, well, I guess it's just in out, isn't it? So now, oh, we can hear the Enderman taking damage and probably teleporting away. And I picked up a couple of items. Right, this thing has priority over the vacuum that's now, well, I was about to say hidden. You can actually see it from here. So there's a vacuum down there. That's already been hooked up. You might have noticed that. Same system as we had before. It goes into an ender chest. The range of this can probably be a lot smaller though. And I think that's most of the details I need to show you right now. What we want to do next... Oh yeah, there's some gaps up here. I don't know what we're going to put here. This is still sort of like my temporary entrance to the top area, so we can get into here. What we're going to do next is turn this on now and just leave it running for a while, and possibly adding some more spawners as well. So there it is, we can see it in action, and because they're so low health, they get killed quickly. Now this guy's different, and that's something I wanted to say about these spawners. Oh, that's interesting, because you're tracking me, you can run away, can you? Well, that's not going to work for too long, I tell you. I'm going to drop down here. We're going to see you get wrecked. Right, so they all spawn with diamond armor and such. And it takes a few hits here, but we can upgrade these, and there's 3 of them in total that we can upgrade. And by having 3 of them, it means spiders will get killed here as well, and we've confirmed that. Although I did choose cave spiders, which are smaller. Now here come the blazes! The blazes are getting wrecked. Amazing. All those items will be getting picked up. And this thing does XP as well. I forgot about that. It's really important that we sort that out, because otherwise there'll be a lot of entities building up here. So right now my inventory is super janky, but we're going to do a little bit of crafting, and check this out. That's how I made parts of the mob mashers, by using these things. We're going to take 2 of them out. I realised this a moment ago. I was about to craft some patterns, but then I thought, well, actually, it's kind of like super convenient just to reuse these ones, since I don't know if I have the right sort of resources to make a pattern right now. Do you know what I'm getting at, though? This is still efficient. So I had a look here. The sharpness upgrade, we can totally afford that. So let's make one of those. And also the looting one as well is pretty cheap, and we can put up to 10 in those. Now I don't know if that means you'll get looting 10, but there you go. I think the one thing we might be short on is gold ingots, nuggets even, but no, apparently we got loads of those, so never mind. Now what we can do is type in, let's try typing in mob. Excellent. How about you give us, let's just put 2 in each for now, so 6 of those. Yep, we got all the resources for it. Then we go for the looting one, and 6 of those, and we got enough for that as well. That's awesome. I didn't expect us to be doing this straight away. Okay, the next thing to do in this cramped little area of ours is to throw this thing down. Also, we don't need that right now. Don't want it using up power. And we're going to chuck green, green, green. That's going to be the code for our experience. Do you know what else we need? We need a diamond on this thing, so it's our own one. Almost forgot that. We're going to send the XP back so it gets stored here in the experience obelisk. We can just set this thing to pull from below, and now what we're going to do is hook this thing up over at our farm, and we're going to use a absorption hopper, which I think will pull the XP through blocks, so that way we can collect it all and send it back here where it's going to be useful. And there's a creeper in my base. Ooh, that scared me. Alright, we are facing south. This thing has priority over the other one that we're using. So what we want to do is send the items south, so we just pass one through the other. And then downwards is where we want to send the XP. So fluids go down. Is it going to be a little bit slow? Actually, I think if I remember, you need to have a tank between... Well, this is an ender tank, but you need to have an ender IO tank between the two. This place is noisy, man, but there it is. It's pushing the XP through into the tank. That'll get picked up by the... Hang on a minute, the diamond thing's gone. Okay, I'll go and sort that out in a moment. That's supposed to be a diamond. But you can hear from the noise that this farm is working. Let's install those upgrades. How am I going to do this? First of all, I need to disable the farm up top so I can access these things. Right, I've set it up like this so that we can access the mob mashers from down here. We don't ever have to break anything, which would be a bit of a design flaw, really. And now we can put 2 of these in each of those. Does it tell us how much it actually does? It doesn't really tell you the difference, just that you can have 10 maximum. I'm not so sure about this. I've spent some time poking around trying to find some cool textures that we can throw a button or a lever onto, and they are wall blocks that I've chiseled. No, that's not going to work. I want to come up with a really cool interface over here. So if you've got any ideas, leave a comment down below. Maybe we can do something involving screens. That would be cool. But we've still got more work to do with this project, but I've hammered out all of the aesthetics, which is what I really wanted to do. And I think now is the time for some details, you know, deco craft and other cool things you can do in modded, like item frames and such. We need to put a few more things in this room to bring it to life. And of course, we need to add some more spawners up the top. One of those is going to be a creeper spawner, and we're going to do that right now. So I know that this is super rare. It feels kind of like blasphemous to convert this into a modded spawner, but there you go, we've done it. And of course, these things will run around the clock. This farm is going to run whether I'm near it or not. I'm going to chunk load it, by the way, so that it will be running when I'm offline as well. That is the power of this thing. And of course, we haven't even upgraded it yet. We've upgraded this bit. I wish I had one of these up the top still. So what was I saying? We can ram loads more of these things. Gotta make sure that's redstone on. There we go. And I need to make sure it's getting a redstone signal before something spawn. You know, if a creeper spawned on top of there and blew up, I'd have a big sad face, you know what I mean? Yeah, we haven't even upgraded any of these, and we can upgrade them 20 times. There's so much more we've got to do with this project, but the start has been put in place, which is awesome. And also the top of this bit, the redstone, it'll all get hooked up eventually. Let's hit that switch. Let's get out of here before a creeper lands on me. Well, I've been waiting here for about 10 minutes, and I've only seen one of those creepers drop down so far. In fact, when it did drop down, it was kind of hidden behind a bunch of blazes, so you couldn't see it for a while. So anyway, I thought, do you know what? We've got to wrap this one up. We've still got lots to do over here, man. This project is going to be amazing. I've got some other ideas rattling around in my brain on how we can make it more amazing as well. But that is going to be it from me this episode. If you have enjoyed it, remember to leave a like on the video. As always, thank you so much for your support. And I'll see you in the next episode of FoolCraft. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.